Hello, Star Trek stream. Yes. And my volume is a little too loud. Let me adjust that down a little. Okay. Star Trek stream. So yeah, we get Andorians. We get Andorians 2. We get some Romulans. We get a Vulcan, at least. And most importantly, we get Jeffrey. We get Jeffrey. So it should be good. Everyone, the
Yes,
first episode
Jeffrey is great.
yeah, Babel 1. So everyone who's not familiar with how this works, what you do is you queue up your own episode, Babel 1, Season 4, Episode 13, I think. And then you play it when we press play, because I'm not going to play it on YouTube, because I don't want to get the channel deleted.
It's already demonetized.
But it could always get worse.
Yes. They could come knocking on your door.
And ladies and gentlemen, we are joined today by E.T. Studios, who is a fantastic CG Star Trek modeler and stuff. Tell us more about your work.
Wasn't expecting you to bring that up. I
I know if anything else
occasionally
to talk
model
about
starships in Blender and attempt to do animations of them. That's about all I can say, really.
You could subscribe to ET Studios. Is it ET Studios or is it ET Studios or is it Studios? What's the
It's ET is what is usually how it is.
You could subscribe to ET Studios on YouTube for more fantastic Blender Star Trek content. Not
I am
the other
actually
ET
working
Studios.
on
There's
right now.
multiple ET Studios. You have to subscribe
There
to
are,
this ET Studios.
But mine is the one with the most subscribers last time I checked.
And it's the one with Star Trek.
It is the one with Star Trek and also Microsoft Flight Sim, but I'm doing more Star Trek now actually, so that there is Blender stuff coming soon, which is cool.
Yeah.
I appreciate
You
you
could also
mentioning it.
subscribe to Soma_Bruffed. Wait, that's what a dog says. Bruffed. Okay. Wait, what are you doing? You're done with Halo Infinite, I assume.
I haven't done much on it for a while, but I do plan on doing some more videos on it eventually. Generally, gaming stuff, probably some compilations of some War Thunder events that I do. Other general gaming content, I'll edit it down now.
Cool. Halo Infinite Campaign Part 10. Wow.
Yeah, Fast 11 didn't actually record.
Wow,
And-
Soma.
Well, OBS effed itself, so it didn't actually record the last part. I got into the last building and then it stopped recording.
Okay.
What are you saying?
Well,
Aaron? You did so
because
badly
Halo
in the
Infinite
last
doesn't.
building.
Because Halo Infinite doesn't have replayability. You can't go back to it without playing
Play
the
the first
entire game
two-thirds
again.
of the game again. It's not that long. A minute 45 till we start. Everyone queue up Babel 1 or Babel 1, but Archer pronounces it Babel in this episode, so I'm going to say
Yes.
Babel.
I might do some Mass Effect or
You guys hear me
Witcher
now?
next.
Yes.
we can.
Yep.
Very good. So actually, from the original Hebrew, Babel is more correct.
But it's canon in Star Trek that it's Babel. Therefore, Hebrew must have been different in the Star Trek universe.
It's always a possibility.
Do you have something to shill?
No.
No? Okay.
I didn't expect you
Cool.
to chill either of us, to be honest.
I just felt like shilling. What was I going to talk about? The weather again.
I mean, you do that quite a lot. But
Oh yeah, I
mean-
tried to say it. It was 21 degrees here.
Nice.
weather's
at
not
night.
too
Okay,
bad, I think.
apparently there's some confusion around what I titled the stream. It's a play on, oh, if we don't have X, why didn't they make X2? It's like, if Andorians are so cool, why don't we have Andorians too? Because in this series we get Andorians 2.0, we get the Aenar.
So we did
Right.
actually get Andorians too.
Yeah.
I mean, that's weird. Is there is one of the sub-races of the Andorians in Strange New World. He's the
Yes.
engineer.
So pay very close attention to the Aenar this episode. Well, not this episode, he doesn't show up here. But the next episodes. And press play in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play.
Oh, bad things are happening.
These are just regular store brand Andorians. 1.0. Nice displays, very
quite a-
flickery.
Damaged ship there.
Sure, the screen's blurry. Good,
Yeah,
good.
remember to ask him why it's blurry in about 20 minutes?
Wait, what's it even blurring? What's it even showing? It's showing the wrong display. It's showing my display with OBS, but blurred. Hang on. Right, because
Now
I...
you guys in chat have a
God.
reason to ask why it's blurry, because it's blurry on the wrong thing.
Okay, I fixed it. Because I unplugged all my computer stuff so I could clean behind the desk and whatnot, and I guess I switched the cables, so now it's confused as to which monitor is which.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Different ports.
And now the Trimari is destroyed. Episode after.
Yeah, also, Tellarite swine, get it? Because they're pig people. They are swines. Literally.
And another quite downbeat cold open before the upbeat intro.
As is tradition, this is the way, as they might say on another series.
It is interesting that for season 4, basically every episode was part of a short arc, a 2-part or 3-part arc.
Do you guys have the thing where most of the stuff you interact with starts with Star? Star Trek, Star Wars, Stargate, Stardew Valley?
Uh, in terms of series, then yes, Star Trek, Stargate, Star Wars, those are my primary things. In terms of video games, no.
Star,
if we extend that
Halo.
to just Star being in the name, Battlestar Galactica, what a fine.
A review, welcome.
The Fault in Our Stars. That's related.
This is not Twilight fanfiction.
What's up with... I saw the movie Fault in Our Stars like, I don't know, what was it, 8 years ago it came out? What was up with that bit where they were making out in the Anne Frank house? That was weird. It doesn't really seem like the place for a first kiss. Hoshi?
Why is Hoshi being so uppity now?
Well, Archer, in the future, it's going to be both. It's going to be a Space Marriott Convention Center.
Yeah, and it's not directly confirmed, but it seems like every crew member on the Enterprise D has their own luxury quarters.
Hey,
Scotty
Ryan.
shows up on the D and it's like, oh, in my time, even an admiral wouldn't have had such quarters.
Jeffrey Combs is in this episode.
He's already been in this episode.
Okay. Hey, you know why I really like this scene? Because we get to see the detail about Tellarites liking insults. But I have this line
That's
ready.
just humans of the current day, Archer.
Ryan Thompson? That's the guy with the jaw.
All right.
Oh yeah, he's the Vulcan admiral. Or not the Vulcan, the Romulan. The same thing. The angry
okay.
Vulcans.
The secret Romulan. Oh, but Ryan.
That's me.
Oh, good boy, Porthos.
Ah, he's such a good dog. Or she's such a good dog. Depending on if you're talking about the actor dog or the canon dog.
Hey, Ryan. Did you ever think YouTube demonetized you because you're just not that funny?
What?
I'm insulting you the way the Tellarites like to be insulted upon greeting.
Hey.
Let me mute myself.
Where did they get the mud? Did they beam it up?
I am curious as to whether that person
they're
in
not
the background is
replicating it.
supposed to be crewman Cutler, or if it's actually just a different crew member.
There's no way she was completely different. That wasn't Cutler.
But
This is
Which,
just Star
spoiler
Wars
alert,
Episode
the
1 again.
Romulans want to do. It's that the people do actually want to have a meeting and work it out. Not just lure the Jedi in to kill them.
They didn't
Which
want to
doesn't really
lure
make
the
sense.
Jedi. They thought they were just regular ambassadors. They were just gonna, like, give them some words and send them on their way, and then they freaked out
Ah.
when they saw it was Liam Neeson. Which, I think I heard Liam Neeson's actually a terrible person, but whatever. He's a really good actor.
I have a very specific set of skills that can make you suffer. Actually, Liam Neeson's a great actor, but his roles tend to be a little wooden. So
And he's so good at being wooden.
yeah, I mean, like, the Taken. Somebody did a really good YouTube review of Taken, but it's basically like the what is it, like the invincible white guy, like.
Not so invincible in Star Wars.
But so he
Liam
likes
Neeson
being
got
insulted.
wrecked.
If you don't insult them, you're not properly greeting them. Like, they like when you call them ugly.
What's that on the ambassador's hand on his middle finger? It's not a ring. It's like, oh, all the
I do like
Tellarites
this
have it.
quirk of the Tellarites.
Yes. In fact, in Discovery, it's been a while, so, Discovery Season 3 and 4. When everybody else left the Federation, the Tellarites are the only ones who stayed because they're too stubborn. Everyone else was doing it. It's like, no, we're gonna stay. There's no way that's color.
So you're like, well,
Sorry, was that ET?
no one argued with them, and they were like, well, we're not going to join anyone else. We're just going to stay here. Continuous arguments for the rest of
It's because the
Make us
Federation
leave.
was forcing them to do things. They're like, we respect you for doing that.
The main Tellarite is really well done, but the others have like TOS makeup on.
I don't even remember. What did they look like in TOS? Let me look it up. I don't remember.
I think it's only once, but also the really cool thing about this plot,
Oh my
and the whole
God.
plot.
It's awful. Okay, the TOS
But-
makeup is really bad.
Yeah, so I think they're giving homage to that though in this episode. That's
There are certain things where they definitely needed visual overhauls. Like, I know Discovery gets a lot of comments about visual redesigns. But
so
have you seen TOS? Because nothing looks like TOS in any other
Right.
show.
Right. But Archer just told Tucker he smells and he should get out of the room. I'm glad we have civility in our culture.
I don't know why, but my icon's showing up as constantly active, but I'm not speaking.
Well, maybe you should be constantly speaking.
Like
Why don't you-
it's also showing up for you guys as like constantly active.
Yeah.
Why don't you stop sticking up the place, ET?
Ooh, apparently the Andorians really like peppers. And is that a yam?
Do you
There's
have a fan on, ET?
durian.
I don't know, and I'm also using RTX voice, so it should be getting rid of any background noise.
Oh, wow.
I don't think it's
In fact, let me just
background.
restart RTX voice. That should fix it.
Okay.
I mean, nothing's coming through, so it's not really
Yeah.
a big deal.
Yeah, I know it's not, but it's
There's
just
nothing
making it weird.
audible to my ear.
There is a GeForce driver update which could do it, but I'll be back.
Okay, bye.
He's leaving us. Poor Jeffrey, he's in such a rough spot.
Jokes about being mean aside, this arc is really important because we are rapidly leading up to the birth of the Federation, the union of Tellarites, Rigelians, Andorians, Vulcans, and humans.
There we
And
go.
this will be the first trial run of that.
See, now I can talk and it won't continuously transmit.
Okay. This is the trilogy where Earth learns the power of friendship.
Yes, I do like how the Romulans try to
Mhm.
force them apart here, but it actually
Mhm.
just drives them together.
That
Well,
sounds like something that's been
oh,
happening in real life recently. Russia.
but only because Archer like foiled their plot. Otherwise, the galaxy would have ripped itself apart, and the
It is
Romulans
only
would have.
because Archer has some experience with all sides and is
Yeah,
good at what he does.
Archer's the only one they can all trust. Otherwise, they're like more than ready to believe. Like in the Vulcan Reformation arc. By the way, really good name, Ryan. For the last episode, the Vulcan Reformation. Um, so in the Vulcan Reformation arc, we have the Andorians and Vulcans almost go to war if it wasn't for Archer. So the galaxy would be ripping itself apart, and the Romulans would come in and pick up the pieces if it hadn't been for Earth.
Very rude of them.
It makes
Going
sense
back
from a
to
strategic
makeup
point of view.
for a second, how come Andorians look great here, even though they're just humans with antennas, but whatever. In TOS, they look basically like this. They looked really good. How come in TNG they were trash? They were awful. They were great, then awful, then great again.
They weren't important in TNG.
It's probably the best reason you could give, actually.
Yeah.
Because they had a grand total of 30 seconds of screen time.
Yeah.
There was LOL, and there was that one rando Andorian in the background in Ryza or something.
Yeah. Whereas they're pretty integral to Enterprise and pre TNG.
I'm also confused about Andorian and Tellarite space, because in DS9, they refer to Andor Teller as one system.
Yeah,
But clearly they're
yeah,
not
yeah.
here. Did that
They
just
are.
get retconned?
It's like the Austro-Hungarian Empire or Habsburgs, you know.
Did Teller Prime get destroyed and they just moved to Andoria? What happened?
That's a good question.
Yes,
Uh,
possibly.
What-
Not seeing them get along that well.
I can just
Sorry, what was that,
accept a
Tim?
retcon, though. It's fine.
I don't see them getting along that well.
They love each
but
other.
I mean, if Romulans and Vulcans can unite, it's almost like, you know, like Navarre. But also
Surely the
Rigel,
Tellarites love Andorians. Have you seen how they treat them?
Rigel is another like really important system in like the menagerie with Chris Pike and TOS, the pilot that never got made. It started with the Enterprise going to Rigel, you know, Christopher Pike. So Rigel was really important back in the day, and along with these guys. It's like the 13 original colonies of the US. Like it doesn't define America today. You know, we have California and Nevada. But historically, it was just the 13.
My god, Grawl, this isn't the time.
Hmm.
A ship just got destroyed. Stop playing with Archer. No, I was thinking like that time that that Cardassian woman thought Chief O'Brien was hitting on her because he was being curt. Is that kind of how like the Tellarites feel about Andorians? Are they being mean because they like them?
I no, the animosity here is the same as the Antedians and the Cele, like the reptilian and mammalian species on TNG, where they're about to hunt each other if you let them.
Gul Dukat, yep.
Yeah, right. So it's like you like they're gonna eat each other if you let them. Like in TNG, they even said like they're preparing a stew. You know, we think it's the ambassador.
He's got a girlfriend.
What's his ship's name?
What ship? He doesn't have one.
The one that was destroyed at the beginning of the episode.
He
Or
that
something.
was the Kumari. I can't remember the prefix.
By the way, Kumari means princess in Hindi from India.
Is Talus the princess?
Um,
Is
It's
Shran the princess?
Yes. I don't like how the Romulan ale became Andorian ale.
This doesn't really relate to the episode too much, but there's a mod for Stellaris. Well, there's two mods that are similar. New Civilizations and New Horizons. That's a Star Trek overhaul for the game. And you can play as the Andorians, and if you do, they put in quotes from Shran as like random dialogue quotes.
Nice.
Like, oh, you declared war. And he'll say, oh, I doubt that war can be avoided this time. So just occasionally, I'll just flash back to Stellaris whenever Jeffrey says something.
I've tried New Horizons. It's good.
New Civilizations is better, though.
When did New Civilizations come out?
I don't know. A year ago?
It was by one of their mods.
So I was
spun it
playing.
off.
The reason I played New Horizons and not New Civilizations is because I was playing it before New Civilizations came out.
New Civilizations is made by one of the same guys that made New Horizons. He was the guy who was really good at programming. And it takes out a lot of the bloat of New Horizons.
Okay.
Also, this
Like
arc
there
is
aren't 50 different strategic resources.
right. This arc is really great because the Romulans have, like, it's implied they have cloaking technology and holographic stealth technology.
Yeah.
And before they went for cloaking, they decided to go for this hollow stealth, like imitation camouflage.
They've been investing 100% into the subterfuge tech tree.
Yeah, for sure. But it's a pretty crazy, like we only figured out because Shran knows the codes or like the weaknesses of an
Power
Andorian ship.
signature of the ship.
Yeah. Otherwise, again,
that's
because
quite a
if
thing
it
to
wasn't-
memorize.
If it wasn't for the friendship between Archer and Shran, we would have never figured this out, and the Romulans would have divided and conquered the whole galaxy.
What do you want him to do about it, Archer? He already tried to help.
From the Vulcan Reformation arc, you know, when Shran goes into an outrage, it's like, do you know what it's going to mean to go to war with Vulcan? Like, it would have been
a disaster.
Yeah. So we see an acting that he doesn't do for any of his other characters.
We don't get a lot of angry yelling Jeffrey.
Yeah,
Even when he's angry as Wayun, he's pretty subdued.
very.
Though I love how contrite he looks here. His head is tilted down and he's looking up at Archer with puppy dog eyes. It's like, no, we're friends, we're cool, right? Looks at the Tellarite and he's angry again.
There's like a lot of DS9 diplomatic negotiations. I think the table may even be the same. Well, no. But the angle of the shot is the same.
How long do Andorians live? Could Jeffrey hypothetically show up in Strange New Worlds? What is it, 100 years until that?
You need Makos to keep these two apart.
Still got Makos on Enterprise, which is nice.
You ever think like the North Korean and South Korean delegations are like that sometimes? Like,
Oh, it's doing it again. Oh,
What are they doing again? Oh,
no,
wait.
my
Yes.
microphone.
his makeup is so bad. Like, good bad.
I think it looks pretty good.
I like the main guy, but all the others are definitely budgeted, but they do it in a way that's an homage to TOS. Sorry, it's homage. Homage is just what we've started to say to sound more French. The word is homage.
Omelette du homage?
It's an English word, not a French word.
They look pretty different, but I guess the wave is the same. Okay.
It's kind of like the scene in Star Trek 6 when they figure out that Klingon bird of prey can't fire while cloaked. And then
Except for the times that it can.
Spock says, an ancestor of mine once maintained that if you eliminate the impossible, no matter what remains, no matter how improbable, must be the truth. Now, that's Sherlock Holmes. So Spock is claiming that Sherlock Holmes is his ancestor? I didn't
Or
get
just-
that.
He could be claiming that Arthur Conan Doyle is an ancestor.
Okay, thanks. Because Sherlock Holmes is fictional and, Spock is real, so I didn't get that.
Well, Spock also lies to us. He claims things are Vulcan proverbs. He's like the Chekhov of Vulcan. It's like, yes, that saying was invented by an old man in Vulcan.
Did you know that Romulan ale was actually created on Vulcan and stolen when they left?
Did you know that the entire Romulan species was actually evolved on Vulcan?
That's
Yeah,
true.
that one's true though.
Yes, it is true, but you
The
get the point.
one I said is probably not true.
Ooh, nice ham sandwich, I think.
There's another scene where T'Pol just looks at her food.
Stardate use Jello for eating scenes a lot because it's very low calorie, so you can do tons of takes with it and it doesn't really fill you up.
What was that? Celery?
Don't.
Jello for
thanks.
a lot of different scenes because
Thanks.
of its ability, because it's so low calorie, you can just eat it and
Well,
then you
there-
can still have lunch or whatever afterwards.
There's some outtakes from the pilot episode where Archer bites off a piece of a breadstick and tries to say something to Paul, and he has to eat 4 breadsticks or more. He just keeps messing it up.
So that's salad on your plate. You're saying that's Jello?
No, it would be an actual sandwich or whatever, but it's just
Paul's
something
not
that
even
they did
eating
in
it, so I
Stargate
don't
for
think they care.
Yeah.
Are you gonna have your salad, or are you just gonna play with it, Paul?
So we averted one war last week, and now we have to avert another interstellar war.
Just another day at work.
Thank God for humans. That's what I say.
Very spooky looking.
I remember during the
The
Zindi arc, I was saying
Vulcans.
we didn't have the concept of drone back in 2000, 2001. But here, we're using drones. Well, we haven't revealed that they're on Romulus, but
Here,
they're using
it's-
drones.
it's the guy with the jaw. He's here. We haven't seen him in a hot minute. Jesus, where has he been? When was his last role? Was it on TNG?
Maybe.
The Romulans are already starting to hate the humans.
To look this guy up. What else has he done? TNG. Oh no, he was in DS9 a couple times. He was one of those red-skinned dudes, and he
Those
was.
are Wi-Fi antennas on the outside of the ship.
Yeah, it's
He was a gem
drone.
Hadar. This is a Reaper's. Wait, what
what-
model
what-
was this on Voyager?
When you're gaming at those frame rates, and you're using Wi-Fi, you better have as many antennas as you can, because otherwise there's lag.
The interesting thing about this ship is that it's not just a holographic projection. It has substance to it because the weapons don't impact the projection.
Is that canon, or was that just for filmmaking?
No, it's true though. The weapons are pretty real, even though the
Oh, it's
I
really
think
big.
it's canon because they talked about it hitting specific locations.
yeah.
Yeah, what did this ship model show up on as on Voyager?
The Kazon?
Oh, was it Kazon?
No, or was it the The think tank. Or Year of Hell. The It looks like a beluga whale, if you ask me.
Just gonna check memory alpha. Was a reuse of Chaotic Space Hulk from Voyager: The Fight. Chaotic Space Hulk. So it was just like some random shipwreck somewhere.
It looks like a crustacean, you know? Lobster squid thing. But I just want to say this is a really well done arc because we get like the birth of the Federation.
Well, though, if you wanted your people back, Archer, you shouldn't have assigned some rando with no lines to the transporter. Need to get a real officer. I appreciate the Romulans' methods here. It's not quite working. Maybe they should like try shaking back and forth. But yeah, just use momentum. Kill them.
Just the Makos.
Archer
Yeah,
is
just the
like,
Makos.
I don't care about the Makos. Give me the proper ones.
It's like I remember in high school I would be pulled out of class for all kinds of like inter-community stuff. And so my principal would ask me, "What class are you in now?" I said, "Oh, just social studies." What do you mean, just social studies?
Just social studies. I mean,
Or just math?
I think the Romulans would be well suited if they just opened all the doors.
Or just pull it hard enough that the G-forces kill them.
Yeah, turn
Because
off
I
the
mean-
inertial dampeners and just go.
So
Go to warp with the inertial dampeners off. Just
Did literally run up the steps there.
Though, if they accelerate too hard, they'll probably break something on the ship.
yeah,
And like
everything.
modern day fighters can pull more G than the pilots can, so just pull more G.
Just kill them. It's not that hard. They're fragile little flesh sacks. Smush them into a wall.
So
I
by
must say,
playing-
the suit design isn't very clever.
no. There should be a lock where the hose is. All you do is you twist it, and then it just stays in place. We're breaking
So,
the
This
manual.
is supposed to be a repurposed bird of prey or some other Romulan ship, but it doesn't look anything like other Romulan ships.
War 5 is still our limit, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
They just went 5.06.
Actually, they're going to push them a bit further now.
like 5.1.
I think the fastest we see it go is 5.3.
Yeah, but it's flying
5.02?
apart at the seams.
It's
like the
called
first
a Warp 5 engine.
It's
On
like the first
paper.
episode of TNG. Like, what's your maximum speed? Warp 9.8? Alright, I need 9.9.
Wow, how convenient that our top speed is a tenth of a warp factor faster than them.
Actually, at 600ths.
600ths of a warp factor faster than them. Wow.
Yeah, the warp scale is also logarithmic, so 0.1 is like
Yeah.
a factor of 10. Like, warp 9.99 is way faster than warp 9.9.
Which is why the scale is stupid.
Yeah. No, it makes sense if you're just a little bit familiar with math.
I mean, I think a better scale, how I would do it if I was designing it, would be Warp factor is 2 to the x, where x is the warp factor. 2 to the x times c.
I don't think American television audiences would be able to follow that.
It's
So
not
the
that
interesting thing
complicated.
is
It's
that
just
they
each.
put 3 Tellarites and 2 Andorians in the same room, even though each room only has 1 bed.
If we do 2 to the x, then each warp factor is twice as fast as the previous warp factor, and we don't have the issue of it asymptotically approaching infinity at 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, but also the fact is, like, in TOS we had 1 to 10, and then in TNG we had a different 1 to 10. So we just have to explain that somehow. Well, actually, in TOS we had warp factor 13, so never mind. I gotta say,
Is that film grain on the Enterprise? But that's a CG Enterprise. They added film grain to it.
Nice.
I love how Strange New Worlds does the warp effect through the window, but Enterprise is kind of like already moving in that direction because it's pretty cool.
Enterprise
Better than
is-
It's moving in
TNG.
the forward direction.
I really like Enterprise's warp effects.
I love Strange New Worlds though. It's like rainbows outside going past you at the speed of light.
So, Star Trek Beyond, I don't know if we ever saw it from inside, but the exterior warp bubble effect was amazing. Was it
It was
Beyond?
pretty
It was
cool
one of the
effect,
JJ
yeah.
movies where we got to see
Yeah.
the
Well,
bubble.
it was Beyond, yeah.
10 out of 10 warp effect. What could they be afraid of? They're afraid of the power of friendship, Archer.
Yeah.
We know this.
And I love how the Romulans were on Vulcan doing all their dirty work because it's like they really like they're like puppet masters pulling the strings.
Not that masterful. None of their plans ever work.
Only because of Archer and humans.
Humans are pretty good at what they do.
I mean, Archer is just a solid guy. Like imagine like if he had killed Strand like he was supposed to. Instead, he just chopped off his antenna and then he made a lifelong friend.
You're right, Reed. There is no rule that says it has to be at the top of the ship in an exposed
Yeah.
space. What if we put the bridge in the center of the ship? Where's the battle bridge on the D?
It's in the
Is that at the
engineering
top of the
section.
bit that separates?
It's at the top of the secondary.
Yeah, it's at
hull,
the
yeah.
very top of the battle section,
God
yeah.
dang it, Starfleet. Put it somewhere else.
Yeah, it should have been in the middle of the net, or even in the.
Yeah, it's front and center, essentially, so really, really, really easy to hit.
Oh boy.
What, you don't refill your tanks? Or are we talking about Talos
This
here?
thing is just interesting.
Something I learned about action sequences is that because it's basically like dancing, because you're not actually fighting
It's a
someone.
different
on
kind
scene,
of action sequence.
it's choreographed, but it can wind up looking a little too choreographed. So they speed up the footage by like a frame or two. And you clearly see that here because they didn't spend that much time
So
dancing.
this guy's not falling for it, but he also let her out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep her inside, man. You have a gun. Okay, now you had a gun.
She came out in a tank top and you were like just standing there.
A sparkly tank top. He still had a gun. He had a pistol. What was that? Shoot her.
But I like how fast Andorians are. It reminds me of Mystique in the X-Men movies.
Her trying to seduce someone?
Well, yeah, but blue moves faster than you can blink. Mystique had great fighting skills.
So they didn't actually know that there was people in it yet.
And
No,
for
we don't.
the Star Trek connection, Mystique originally was played by Una Chin Riley, #1.
#1 from TOS.
From Strange New Worlds. The character's name is Una Chin Riley, and she played
Yeah.
Oh,
Mystique.
she's the same.
Rebecca Ramjan.
Oh, I didn't know that. Thanks. The film actress is now working in the TV show. Is that what you're saying, Ryan?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe. I don't know anything about X-Men, but sure. Other than Rebecca Ramjan was in it, and Captain Picard. And Gandalf. Gandalf was in it.
I mean, nowadays TV has a lot of,
Film actors.
well, a lot of film actors, and also each episode is a significantly higher budget than it used to be. Some of them getting not overly close, but uncomfortably close to the price of film.
Humans. God, look at this guy's jaw, though. It just sticks out so much. It's beautiful. He's so prominent.
Now they don't have to.
I don't know, I feel like they could accelerate faster. It's like the Carnival Tilt-A-Whirl. Just go faster. You're in a starship. Goes patrolling. Okay, they're bad at their jobs.
They're like stormtroopers this episode. Like, what are you droids doing here?
And they don't have sensors to tell that things are being fired at yet, do they?
At least they waited long enough to let Talos get dressed again.
Yeah.
Wait, except didn't they run down the hall at the end of the last scene? Away?
Yep.
Where did she find the leather?
Don't worry about it.
Oh, okay. Almost
It
any.
looks-
What ship could they not mimic? I guess
looks like a
ships
tar-
smaller than themselves. They couldn't.
It can't mimic a tardigrade because it is one. It looks like a dust mite. Are the Romulans just weaponizing dust mites?
No, Archer, why are you on your way? No, just the Makos. The captain doesn't have to go.
Because he needs to dissolve the situation.
Yeah,
I guess.
you're gonna have 2 ambassadors. And by the way, Shran just tortured the Vulcan ambassador, so he's not a good
Two
guy.
arcs in a
Yeah.
row, he tortures someone who doesn't know anything.
Yeah.
What a jerk.
That's the Jeffrey Combs we know. And I love the
I'm
Vulcan
trying-
ambassador in that scene. See, if you want to torture me, just get it over with. Because I'm telling you the truth.
The scene's moving pretty fast, so it's hard to tell, but I'm trying to see... Oh, no, it does. The blue from their phaser firing does light them up.
Yeah. They do a good job with that post-lighting
put-
effect.
Is that in post, or did they have an LED that went off when they pulled the trigger?
You can do that in After Effects pretty easily.
But if
Yes,
you have
I'm
an
sure.
LED, you don't have to.
Well, hopefully there's no more phaser fire.
Hopefully there's a lot more phaser fire. Kill them.
I don't actually see. Well, there is a tiny thing that looks like it could be the trigger on that gun.
Yeah, there's a button. Just tell him, Archer. Just... It'd be a lot faster to just say Romulans.
But
That's a nice
the
run,
trigger on the phaser, it's so easy to accidentally press. Like normal triggers, you have to pull quite a distance before it will actually do anything, and also you keep your hand off the trigger at all times.
Yeah, there's also a nice place to keep your trigger off of the hand off of the trigger most of the time on run weapons. But
Yeah.
those don't look like there's a good place to actually put your finger off the trigger.
I was very rude of the Tellarite.
Yeah.
That was just gratuitous. I like how Archer shot though.
But he didn't.
Didn't he shoot the guy who shot the woman?
Nah, that was a Mako.
Oh, okay, thanks.
He did shoot the guy outside the quarters, though.
Who's here? Nobody. Wow.
And we do a segue to the zoom in
What
to
are
the Romulan capital at the beginning of Nemesis. They just play the footage backwards and zoom out because why pay for more CGI when you already paid for that CGI?
what are those chairs or are those computer displays? They look like lounge chairs surrounding
Gorgeous
the
zoom out.
center.
Gorgeous. Like,
If
if you
a
notice in
facility
Nemesis,
in a well, not tall in comparison, I suppose, but decent sized building. Decent height building.
I just hear the Nemesis music playing, you know, with the theme written by Jerry Goldsmith.
So previously we've seen the city a lot, but it was always a matte painting, but now it's fully realized 3D. And it turns out it's actually a really small city. Like a village. Alright. So next episode, everyone queue up, 1 minute to that, and it's going to be United. I wonder what's going to happen in United, in an episode where people are trying to unite against the Romulans.
Against the
What could it possibly
Russians.
be? I unfortunately have to disappear, but I might actually appear for the last episode.
Ah, with
Right.
the Andorians 2.0.
We shall
Okay.
see. See you guys
Thank-
later.
Nice seeing you. Have a good day.
Meanwhile, Argos has half appeared. He's here in spirit.
Here goes.
Argos, if you have said literally anything, none of it has come through. We're not ignoring
haven't.
you. Okay, just making sure.
Happy Sunday.
What do you mean, happy Sunday? Do you mean you're happy on this Sunday? Do you mean it's a good Sunday to be happy on? Do you mean it's a good Sunday to press play in 3, 2, 1, play on?
Yes.
I
Something.
do love the custom music they put for each of the recaps.
The custom views.
The music that they do for it.
Oh, cool. I didn't realize.
I like the strings of Christmas lights they put through the ductwork
that.
on the Romulan ship.
LEDs are getting cheap by then. You know, on the Vulcan Reformation, though, another parallel to contemporary events, and again, this is 2002, 2003 now, invading another planet on false intelligence cooked up by a paranoid, well, anyway, vice president or whatever. It was just a little bit on the nose, but it was a good theme, though, because it's like, well, you can't trust your leaders to make certain
Star Trek
decisions.
is doing political messaging.
Yeah.
Is that what you're
Politics.
implying? That's crazy.
Nice Star Trek.
It's taking sides in a contemporary political issue.
They
But,
would never
cool.
do that.
But and also like we were all geared up to invade Andoria, and it was gonna be like also the Vulcans were gonna attack Andoria Prime, not even like an outline.
Which may or
system.
may not also be Tellar Prime.
So here also though, false intelligence, incorrect information is very dangerous.
Disinformation campaign by the Romulans again.
Yep.
So, are the Romulans just Russians here? Because in TOS, Klingons were Russians.
Yeah. It's kind of why I did. It's almost well. Okay. Let me say before I say it's someone else. I just learned about John Foster Dulles and Alan Dulles. There were two brothers. One ran the State Department. The other ran the CIA during Eisenhower and Truman.
It's
And
Enterprise.
they overthrew a lot of countries, like Guatemala, Iran, whenever it was important to U.S. corporate interests. And they ran, and in their view, they won the Cold War, but they also like got us into Vietnam, the Bay of Pigs, and so on. So, dividing and rule imperialistic enterprises, it could be any empire. The British were famous for doing divide and rule in the countries that they conquered.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Soma.
But
You took that and you made it worse.
contemporary-wise, this is what I was trying not to say. I feel like the Romulans would be Chinese, right? Because they're using their wealth and capital and cheap labor population to develop other countries, give them cheap loans, and then take over the ports when they can't pay back their loans.
I don't think that's what the Romulans are doing. That doesn't sound like the Romulans at all, man.
They want to consolidate. But anyway, I don't want to draw too many metaphors. But yeah.
Here's a metaphor. Remember the defector from TNG? Where at the end Tomlok's like, oh, once we dissect your enterprise for every precious bit of information, I intend to display its broken hull in the center of our capital as a symbol of our victory.
That was
Well,
great.
apparently Zelensky said that and just started displaying destroyed Russian tanks in the center of Kiev. So that's nice. Display your broken tank's hull in the center of our capital.
I mean, those anti-tank missiles are pretty good at blowing apart a tank. It's not World
the
War
name.
II anymore.
Yes, stars Jeffrey Combs, yes.
The crazy part is a tank is a death trap. Once the missile gets in there, everybody in there can't escape and they all burn up.
Once a missile gets there, I don't think it matters if you're in a tank or not.
Yeah, it's probably better to be in a tank than not.
Yeah, but if other countries are giving you anti-tank missiles, you're basically just stuck in a giant armored roasting oven.
It's
Okay.
a big... You're painting a big bullseye on yourself.
Let's do an experiment in that case. You stand in front of a missile, not in a tank, and we'll see what happens.
I think the point is less that the tank itself is dangerous to be in, and more that you're
Yeah.
going to be targeted a lot more if you're in a tank. Nobody's going to fire a missile at just one dude.
I learned
Okay, yeah, I think they will.
the U.S. Marine Corps no longer even makes tanks, or has tanks. They're just
Yeah.
focused on like amphibious assaults and stuff like that. Tanks were important in World War II. They're not so important now.
So what would you replace them with?
I think we use armored personnel carriers.
And what does a tank do?
No, it's same thing. But the thing is though, like also during the Iraq War, we found like a lot of the armored convoys can be blown up by IEDs and stuff. Like
That's urban warfare. That's different to like what we were talking about in World War II.
fair enough.
Anyway, so apparently if you get shot with kill, it infects you with something.
Yeah.
Is it
doesn't
like her
kill you
blood is like
instantly.
too thin or something? Like she's got that Andorian metabolism.
Also, wait, she got shot with an Andorian weapon, didn't she?
No, it's a human weapon.
Mako. Teleplay by Judith Reeves Stevens and Garfield Reeves Stevens. Some of the best novel writers ever.
Or are human weapons super effective against Andorians?
I guess. Look at the size of that credit. I like the bits where the credit fills the entire screen. Can't see anything that's happening.
Was
Yeah, I
this the
saw
same?
phases just if you get shot on kill, you're just dead. But no, take some time. It's chill.
Was this the same woman who when they
No.
were with the Vulcan ambassador on
No, different woman.
okay, thanks.
I don't remember her name. This is Talus.
Okay.
In fact, I wasn't the traitor Andorian Susie Plaxton? Wasn't that Kalar?
Oh, cool. Also, so here's what kind of Enterprise messes me up a little bit, is that if Vulcan reunification is really a Romulan plot to like neutralize Vulcan, then like Spock is just, doing the dirty work of Remans.
Okay, so the other Andorian was Tara. Tara and Talus.
And again, we see in Enterprise that the Romulans always knew that they were the distant relatives of.
There's the Remans,
Vulcans.
spooky vampires.
Yes.
And they're gone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Romulans always knew. I'm sure the Vulcans knew. That's why they didn't say anything.
Well, the Romulans knew because they're the ones who left Vulcan, so they would remember that. The
Yeah.
Vulcans don't necessarily what happened to the people who left. They just know there's some empire called the Romulans.
Okay,
Yeah.
What is
everybody.
Jolan True?
I've
actually mean?
arrived.
Yeah.
Welcome, Robo. Jolan True.
Jolan True is Romulan for John True.
Peace be with you. Peace meaning I'm gonna mess you up.
It means find peace, or may your day be filled with peace. And also, the Tal Shiar is watching everything you do.
It's got to be nice to be in the Tal Shiar. You get free soup.
Hey, Archer's dodging his head under the bulkheads again, like a pro.
Ryan,
Well, what do you
only
want him
at
to do, just
loyal
back his head into it?
establishments. Only at loyal establishments.
They all have to have the veneer of loyalty, or
Sure.
they just get wiped out.
They're all loyal establishments.
Yeah, that's the joke.
Or it's not an establishment.
So they didn't have NVIDIA GeForce Now back then.
What?
Like this chip is running on like a frame rate with the Wi-Fi signal. It's not able to keep up with the.
So, at this point, does T'Pol know that Romulans are an offshoot of Vulcans?
She does,
No,
because the
nobody
way she
knows.
says Romulans in another episode, like Hoshi says Remulans.
They
And-
know the Vulcans know about the Romulans, but they don't know
T'Pol
that
says
they're
Romulans,
relatives.
and she says it in a way like that's not a good thing.
Yeah, they know that they
She
hate
knows-
the Romulans.
They know about the Romulans and that Romulans are bad, but they don't know that Romulans are just Vulcans.
There was one person who did because the Romulans told him.
Yeah, there was Evil Admiral.
Yeah, the previous minister.
Evil
Admiral
Admiral.
Layton, yeah, he knew.
Leighton
Yeah, Layton.
from DS9.
Yeah, he played the other evil Vulcan admiral whose name I don't know, so he's Admiral Layton.
Oh, okay. You're completely throwing me off. But also, so in TOS, Errand of Mercy, when it's like we
See,
never see the Romulan, and then when you see him on the view screen the first time, then it's like, oh, you're the same race or species.
Even the Tellarites who just hate everybody, they don't care about people's personal mating practices. Why are humans so caught up on it? Leave
Yeah,
them
another
alone.
good diss. Your mother was a swine.
I don't think it's a insult though when it's really true. They're literally pig people.
Your mother was a targ.
Like if you said to me, "Oh, your mother was an American." Yeah. What's your point? Your mother was an ape. Yeah. We're all apes. That's how humans work.
Your great grandfather was an ape.
No, we're apes.
Yep.
We're great apes.
Your ancestor was a primate.
We're primates too, though.
True.
Marauder. Has
is
anyone
really-
ever heard someone use maraud as a verb? Because it is a verb.
Marauding,
word.
yes. Marauding, yes, but not maraud.
You guys want to go maraud later?
You're right. We use the noun marauder way more than we use the verb maraud. But like that's the thing about English, or I guess any language. But some phrases are very common together and otherwise not used. Like you use raping and pillaging together. You don't just use pillaging by itself. You have to rape and pillage. All right. What's the point of pillaging if you're not going to rape?
All right,
That-
we get it.
I'm going to mute.
There are different definitions of that, to be clear. It's basically just saying pillage and pillage.
Yeah. Right. Like when you it's like ransacking.
We can just stick with regular pillage. Pillage is good. Well, it's not good. You know what I mean.
Yeah. Right.
Don't pillage.
Yeah, it's too much effort.
So anyway, how about the weather?
Well, I wouldn't know because I'm in a tower on Romulus controlling a drone attacking Enterprise.
Pretty sure you're in bloody Phillipsville.
No, I'm in New York, but the thing is though, funny thing is though, so we have drones in real life since the Afghanistan war in 2001, and it's people's jobs to be in a CIA office in Langley, Virginia, and they control little drones and bomb hopefully bad guys, but sometimes wedding parties all day, and then they go home to their wife and kids. So it's very interesting if your job is to digitally control something from far away and rain hell on another country and then kiss your kids goodnight.
Unrelated. It's curious to me how quickly the Romulans gave up on the just smush them against the wall plan. That was working fine. And just stopped. Go hard left, hard right, just strafe, back and forth.
They found that it psychologically wears those drone operators down because your job is to digitally control Hellfire.
How do the Romulans know how to speak
I did
English?
that successfully for years
Because
in
they've
Call of
been
Duty. I'll be
spying on
fine with
humans.
that. Give me an AC-130.
He appreciates art.
We have flooded everywhere with radiation the whole time. Why are we waiting until they just start screwing with the warp core? Just kill them. Maybe they want to keep them alive if possible to interrogate.
I love how Shran is a art appreciator of art.
Yeah.
You know, like when I'm at someone's house, I look through their bookshelf. He's checking out the art.
Archer didn't serve on all the Enterprises. I don't know if we should use the HMS Enterprise. This is an American ship.
The lineage of the name Enterprise comes from the HMS Enterprise.
British ships.
Yeah, and
Ridiculous.
but that Enterprise is spelled with a Z, so it's not the same Enterprise.
No. I don't know.
That doesn't strike me as accurate.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Wasn't it spelled
Is
differently?
this before or after he chops off his antenna?
After. He grew it back,
Way
that's
after.
fine.
After?
Yeah, that's why they trust each
Wait,
other.
no,
now.
no, it's before. No, sorry.
Yeah, it hasn't happened yet because the Tellarite the reason
It's
why he has to have that
after
fight is
I
because
watched
of
the
Tellarite.
episode where he cuts off his antenna a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. I assumed it happened way long ago when that girl betrayed him, Tara.
We had aircraft carriers called Enterprise. How come we didn't have one of those instead of the HMS?
That
Wasn't
also was
there?
after the show.
Didn't they have the aircraft carrier in the motion picture on the back wall of the assembly room? They had the aircraft carrier. I'm certain of it.
Also, but that was
And
named
in-
after Star Trek.
In Stage 9, where they have all the gold ships in the hallway to the ready room, they have the aircraft carrier, they have that weird ring ship, they have the NX-01, they had the space shuttle.
They had
had
the
the sailing
NX-01 in
vessel.
Stage 9?
In Stage 9? Yeah, Stage 9 was an Unreal 4 VR
Oh.
simulation of the Enterprise D.
Oh, with the
Not
Unity.
the literal stage in Los Angeles. The
Okay,
software
no.
I was like,
stage.
Unreal 4, not Unity.
okay. Oh,
Unity is a hot pile of garbage and
No,
would
it's
not be
not.
able to do
it's
it.
Unity
not.
is Unity is as
Okay.
good as Unreal.
Unity is
You-
so resource intensive when you try to do anything more than just like a mobile game. Please.
Unity
No,
is
it's
perfectly
not.
fine.
Stage
It's
nine,
just used by people who don't know how to make games.
Yeah.
That's probably it. That's people who don't know how to optimize it. Yeah, that's fair.
It's just people's first game engine, and they just
Making a game is easy. The game engine died for me.
What's making a game engine is easy, but what?
If the engine,
that a
if the
reference
game
to,
engine will
Argos?
do it for me. It's a reference to the Unity that you're criticizing.
Oh.
Why does this look higher frame rate for some reason? It's not 60 because it's not filmed in 60. Is my monitor interpolating for me? I
don't know.
It looks good for me too. I don't know why.
Isn't it filmed in like 29.96 or something stupid like that?
Let me check my file properties, see if it's what the frame rate is. I'm pretty sure it's 23.976.
Maybe they upgraded the camera or something. Yeah.
Yeah, 23.976 is the frame rate, but it looks higher for some reason.
I only
I
want
love
to
this
talk.
character development because it's like
Because
Oh,
it's Jeffrey.
there was a
This
football
is where he
player
puts the blood.
who
Yeah,
during the Iraq
yeah.
War he gave up like a football contract to go fight, and he
Yeah,
died.
and then he got killed by his big conspiracy. He got killed by his
And then later it
his
came out he
friends.
died of friendly fire. But anyway, we're talking about Shran and his
Friendly fire isn't.
the woman who.
Well, it wasn't just friendly fire. It was like there was something that he was gonna report him for or something, and so they killed him.
Yeah, it was something
It was
dirty.
a big conspiracy. Yeah.
But it was important for the war effort at the time too.
Call of Duty Black Ops.
You gonna get to the point, Jeff? You just here
We're
to
doing a
make him feel bad?
We're doing a monologue.
Yeah, that's exactly why he's here. He's literally
Yeah.
here to make him feel bad.
He doesn't look like he feels bad. He looks like he's afraid Jeffrey's gonna stab him. But he doesn't look guilty.
I mean, Jeffrey came in there with guns. He shouldn't be so shocked that like his assistant died.
His girlfriend died.
Mm.
She's not just his assistant.
And also, they have that trope of when someone's dying, you look in their eyes and you tell them everything's gonna be all right. Don't do that.
There it
It's
is.
just
That's some pretty viscous blood.
it's just a little wound. You'll be okay. As like the life is draining out of their eyes. You'll make it.
Jeffrey, come on, be reasonable, man. We have bigger things to worry about here. Can we go back to killing the Tellarites after we stop the Romulans from murdering people?
Kind of reminds me of either Lady Macbeth, who like can't stop washing her hands after she kills the King Duncan. There's a line in there.
Did Lady Macbeth even stab him herself? I don't remember.
Yeah, she did. She's the one who did it
Okay.
because Macbeth can't do it himself.
'Cause he
so
chickened
she like
out.
yeah, he can't do it. So she's like, let me show you how to do it. And but then there's a line in there: all the perfumes of Arabia could not wash this blood from my hands.
What about perfumes of other places?
You know, it could have washed the blood from her hands. Dawn dish soap. Gentle, yet
How
effective.
about soda water? Gets blood stains out.
Oh, does it? How okay did you find that out?
What have you done?
That cops use Coca-Cola to clean blood off the sidewalk and streets.
Is that true, or is that one of those dumb life hacks?
I hope I never have to find out.
Like,
just find
pour
some
soda
blood on
in
the
your
street
hair as a
and give it a go.
conditioner. And get ants.
Maybe it's the ants that clean it up. They just take the blood
Ah.
away as a byproduct.
But something cool.
Is that a
blood
sonic
is
screwdriver?
blood is so rich in all kinds of organic compounds that no matter how much bleach you scrub on it, if you go in there with like forensics and UV light, you're going to see all those markers. You can't get rid of it.
Is that right?
Therefore, if
That's
you're
what
ever
luminol-
bleeding, make sure
you
to
have to
drink
use
the blood for all
luminol.
the nutrients.
What?
Don't try to
Okay.
get away with murder because there's still evidence, even though you thought you cleaned up. Just don't do murder. Because
There was a guy who his wife died in a fire, and they investigated, and they were trying to blame. They were saying it was arson that he did it because they found traces of gasoline
Mm.
in the house. And what when they did the testing on the gasoline, they realized it was leaded gasoline, and the house was built way back like in the 50s, and at the time it wasn't uncommon for people who were doing hardwood floors that they would use gasoline to thin the varnish. So they realized that the residue of the gasoline was from like 60 years ago, you know.
the construction.
So they were like, "Oh yeah, you didn't. It wasn't actually arson. It was an accident. Sorry about that."
But don't
They
kill
Because
anyone.
you can't get leaded gasoline anymore. You know,
Right.
obviously.
Well, what if I want it, though?
You're gonna have to put lead in.
You can
your
get
phone.
lead replacement for cars that run on leaded gasoline, but you can't get actual
And
leaded gasoline.
Archer is going to put his life on the line again for not too big a reason.
That's
Get
why
Anime
he gets
Coco to do it
respect from
instead.
Shran.
It's like Game of Thrones with trial by combat.
It's okay. He has to do this. That's why the guy doesn't show up to try and stop him. This future guy. What's his name?
Daniel.
Jacobs
Daniels.
or
So does that,
Daniels,
yeah, like
whatever.
surely he would know he's gonna live because he's not showing up to try and do that.
This is an intended historical event, because the timeline restored
Right.
itself.
And Archer's not gonna die, so keep it moving timeline.
I
That's a
imagine
really
Daniel shows up
inefficient
like,
way to
"No,
sharpen
Archer,
a
don't
blade."
eat that burrito.
And it's also a very inefficient blade to sharpen.
I
So
doubt
You'll be
that
stuck in the toilet for
the
hours and miss a
blade's
critical historical event."
design is based on efficiency.
Do you seriously carry that with you everywhere, Jeff?
He goes to the
An ice
toilet with
cutting
it.
tool? How often do you have death matches that this is necessary?
In the military?
We don't see the
More often than
Klingon,
you
so we
think.
gotta do this honor guard stuff. I mean, he is the honor guard. Like, are you saying the Imperial Guard is disloyal?
Yes. They tried to bloody rob Enterprise in season 3.
Yeah, but they were the only thing defending Andoria from Vulcan's preemptive attack on Ukraine.
Iraq 2.
No, but you're right, Ryan. In a lot of lore, like even games, Andoria and Talar are the same system.
Huh.
We got to solve that.
He would.
Oh.
No, Jeffrey, you're going to have to try to kill him. It's a very different thing.
It's also like that TNG episode with no vaccine.
It's
You know-
racist?
But it's like you have
Code
a
of
fight.
honor.
Yeah, combat to the death, tribal combat. You have a champion. Like Tasha has to fight for the captain.
God, now we need more vaccines because we have Pandemic 2
Tasha wasn't a
coming up.
champion. Tasha was directly challenged by the other woman for
Right, the first
what's
wife.
his name? Luton? Was it
It's like, I don't
Luton?
even want
Yeah.
Luton, lady. You can have him.
What is Luton?
And
She
it turns
really
out
didn't want
nobody
him.
actually wanted Luton.
Yeah, she was trying to divorce Luton.
No matter who wins, Luton wins.
Apparently not, no.
Then they figured a loophole.
How do you?
Talking about Code of Honor of all episodes.
Code of honor.
Really?
What's up with your cats? Every time you speak,
Yeah.
it's just there's meowing.
Well, that's the new one. He's very chatty.
More
But
cats.
what's his name?
His name. Oh, hold on.
Oh, I hear myself too.
His name is Revan Oppenheimer. For I have become Death Destroyer of Worlds. That's his full name.
Revan never destroyed world. Well, he destroyed one world.
And he was good, but he was bad, and then he was good again, and then we know he was actually bad.
Well, actually, you could be bad again if you chose. I mean, it's just kind of up to you.
You can be bad if you want.
What's the canonical ending of KOTOR?
He shows up again in the MMO, and I think he's light side there.
He's both. His ghost is good. His physical body is evil.
Hey, we're reading Romulan script, which is called Razen Shu, if you didn't know.
Now Nihilus, though, Nihilus was big on being destroyer of worlds. Just not
Wouldn't
the
they
world
recognize
itself,
that it's
but
just Vulcan, though? Wouldn't they be like, this language is just Vulcan with like some
they
extra
can make
symbols?
Their own language. They've been gone like tens of thousands of years or something.
True, it would be
But they're
like
not. It's
Roman
established
and
in other-
Cyrillic. You know, it's almost the same, but
It's
not.
In the
It's
JJ
established in
universe,
other-
it's the same.
Like I read Anteka, but it's Arteka, which means pharmacy in Russian.
in next generation, when they were looking for that weapon, remember
The glyphs.
there was
They've got
confusion.
multiple pads for it for some reason.
I have like 4 Kindles that I carry with me every day, so I know how
Why?
it goes. You know, like one's for reading, one's for watching.
Surely they're
One
all for
for-
reading. It's a Kindle.
Yeah, there's Kindle Fire. There's 2 Kindle Fires and an Android tablet and a Kindle for reading.
So he could marry Hoshi or Travis. He could marry T'Pol. He was already keen on that earlier. Well, T'Pol's already married.
Who's gonna marry? All those
Wait, no,
people?
T'Pol isn't married. T'Pol's fine.
T'Pol is annulled.
Archer needs to marry someone so he has a clan.
Oh, thanks.
So, Mr. Deutschland,
Yeah.
when you get like an email from the vet, does it have the full name?
I wish. I just put him up in general chat as well.
The direction is really great, where everyone's looking at the camera and telling Archer how to fight, and then again, what is that? It's from Code of Honor, the little arm bracelet that he's wearing, the wrist bracelet. All we need is the mace attachment that Tasha had.
Mm.
Oh, little Revan. Very needy kitty.
I can tell.
Oh, so they're tied to each other? That's a good touch.
Yeah.
Well, Deutschland, you spelled Revan wrong.
Oh, Ravan.
It's
Sorry.
Revan.
it's a
Ravan.
it's like an old school knife fight. You're tied. Your other arm is tied together with the other person.
Also, Revan was almost canon in the Clone Wars. Almost. He had a scene
Was
and then
he?
they cut him.
When was he in the Clone Wars?
That bit where they meet the gods of the Force. The son, the daughter, and the father.
Oh,
The son went to
yeah.
consult the Lords of the Sith, and originally Revan was there. Which doesn't quite make sense because he's only kind of a Sith Lord. He's not really the dark side exactly, but he was almost canon.
The blades are so shiny.
The
Stabbing
animatic
someone
for that
really
scene
short
exists.
distance.
Stabbing someone in the calf muscle is a pretty good way to.
It's gonna
cripple them.
hurt.
Which episode are we in, by the way?
He could get the
This
artery in
is
his
season
thigh
4,
and kill
episode
him.
14, United.
And this is very mafia style to use like a piece of twine to choke someone. Archer said.
I think you're ahead a little bit.
You're
Yeah,
definitely
sorry.
ahead. Please sync
Luca
yourself
Brasi-
with the countdown that I'm streaming to Discord.
Sorry, my frame rate is different, so it always goes off sync. Sorry, but Luca Brasi sleeps with the fishes.
Revan is canon one of the books from Rise of
I like
Star.
how
Are the
his-
books
his
canon for
makeup
Star Wars? Because they're not
is
canon for Star
wrinkled.
Trek.
Oh no, he killed Jeff.
Oh wait, yeah, there's a Revan Legion or something.
Great
Well, that's just
direction,
remake.
great fight scene, great surprises, great laughs.
Oh, poor
He's like
Jeffrey.
drunk.
Great little band-aid on top of his antenna.
Do you suppose just before they started, they called action, they had him like spin around in place for a minute?
Yeah, maybe they did. You know, like that'd be
Authentic
commitment.
reaction.
Maybe he's a method actor.
You know,
Massage.
speaking of cats, fun fact: cats have whiskers all along their body. We call them whiskers, but scientists call them
Oh, fur.
vibrosari, and they really help cats move in the dark.
All along the body.
Sorry.
Are you talking about body here? That's not whiskers.
No,
I
know,
like
but
how
they-
he's got a bruise. He's got a bruise from the choking on his neck. It's a nice
And the
attention.
Oh,
cut
yeah.
off part of
continuity.
his antenna is square.
Yeah, that's true. When you do get choked, it does show up like that.
I think it's only square because of the tape. Like, he's got tape going across it in both directions.
No, it's square because Archer made a nice slice.
No, he means a square, like it's not round any. Like the
Yeah.
cross section is no longer round. It's
Yeah, square tapered off is a square.
Oh, who is it gonna be? Is it... That looked Vulcan
Vulcan.
for a
Yeah.
second. Okay.
But it's really creepy how they basically used an Aenar zombie to like do their dirty work. Like it's kind of dark.
He's not a
Does-
zombie, he's just a guy in a hat.
Does
Yeah, It's not even like a willing soldier of their army. It's just
does
someone.
Archer know that they're on it?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah, but he doesn't know that it's a holographic weapon.
What is to
Well,
mean it
Archer
doesn't
knows
work?
that-
Surely she means it does match the Romulan ship.
Archer knows
Doesn't
that
match being a Vulcan.
his people are on it. I don't think Archer knows that the ship is otherwise empty yet. I don't know if he knows that it's a drone.
Yeah, they're out of contact with the. Oh wow, we used the word drone here.
Well, yeah. This is like 2004.
You know,
Okay,
on
so
the one
now
hand,
if they didn't before that, now they know it's a drone because only 2 humans.
on the one hand, drones are great because you don't have to send in 100,000 troops to kill the bad guys. But on the other hand, you make deadly mistakes, and that makes us look bad.
Those mistakes happen even when there's somebody in the vehicle.
Hmm.
They had a A-10 crew that shot a British infantry fighting vehicle during the Iraq War by accident.
That's very rude of them. Shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
The 2003 one or the 91 one?
Just couldn't resist. They were thinking of the Tea Party,
2003,
and they thought, yeah, let's just
I
do
think.
one more.
That's too. No, I actually, I watched the video, the pilot throws up like when he realizes what happened in his plane, because they call and they're like, is this a friendly? Who's operating in this area? And they're like, it's not ours. Nobody claimed it. So they're like, all right.
They didn't bother trying to communicate
If
with their
anything, that
allies.
sounds
They
like the
just fired.
British's fault.
No, they did, and they didn't claim it. You know what I'm saying?
There's all kinds of confusions that can happen on a battlefield. Frequencies don't match.
Evasive maneuvers that work in my Star Trek.
Surely that maneuver should kill all of the people on it.
Oh yeah, Reed and Tucker should be
That's what
dead.
inertial dampers are for.
That would make them into spaghetti.
Dampeners, technically, Ryan. You said dampers.
I didn't say anything about dampers, but I think it is dampers in Star Trek.
No, it's dampen.
Yeah, it makes you kind of wet.
I remember seeing some interview
you.
where one of the actors was like, "Oh, I kept saying dampener, but they kept correcting me." It's like, no, it's damper in our world. Damper.
Maybe they use that word because it doesn't exist.
Yeah, you can't. Inertia is the one thing we can't overcome. It's gonna happen. It's like one of those laws of the universe.
Alliance ships. It's some kind of federation.
It's like rule number 1 or 2.
Oh, I saw
Can
the
you
blue
use
screen a little
inertial-
bit behind Malcolm.
Can you use inertial dampening in space?
Well,
That's
I mean,
primarily the place
you
to
can't
use
use
it.
inertial dampening anywhere because that's not a real thing. But in Star Trek, yes, apparently you can.
I was just thinking, like, if it's in space, it's going to be very difficult to like put that motion somewhere else.
Inertial
was cool.
dampers are one of those magical things like the Heisenberg compensator.
It works very
we
well.
We don't have anyone jumping out of an airlock anywhere else in Star Trek, and like being picked up by the crew until Discovery, I think.
Enterprise has done it twice now, but yeah, the other shows, nah.
It's a lot of money to like put people on strings.
To put a guy
like,
on a wire with a green screen.
Yeah. And also like make them fly out in a circular centripetal motion thing.
Reusing this gag from season 1 Shuttlepod. Shuttlepod 1.
I love that.
Wait, so what would they do if this happened? Like in the real military? Would they do that because he disobeyed an order?
It would depend upon the reason for the disobeying of the order, because the military does teach that you should obey orders. From what I'm aware, but it's like sometimes you get given a bad order.
But Starfleet doesn't want officers who will blindly
I
follow
think you have
orders
to have
without
an
analyzing the
extremely good
situation.
reason to disobey an order, though, or they'll
Yeah.
discipline you. Because if they don't discipline you, then people just stop obeying orders because they feel like it.
Yeah, in Vietnam, towards the end of the war, soldiers were ordered to like go out on patrol, and they would just like keep smoking their cigarettes around a campfire. Like, yeah, we're not going out today. So you basically you had a breakdown of morale and discipline in the whole military, and that was not good.
Tellarite ships
Yeah.
look like slug ships from FTL.
Tellarites look like slugs too. big sluggo cola faces.
See, we learn who the mysterious soldier is.
Yeah.
I'm curious about the point of the wall around the city. Because the city would have only been founded after the space age, so it's not like to keep out barbarians with swords.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a
Probably
dike.
just like to be ornate, yeah.
It's a dike
They
for
just
a
like
dam.
It was kind of like Cardassia was the same. Cardassia
Yeah.
has a wall around that city.
Well,
But
Cardassia,
it's,
the city might have been founded a long, long time ago.
Yeah,
But this is
yeah.
Cardassians come from Bajor. Well, at least that's
Yeah.
the theory.
But like they had archaeological
1 minute to
ruins on
Aenar, by the way.
Cardassia, and Romulus was only founded 1800 years ago when Surak had his revolution.
Wait, Cardassians come from Bajor? I thought they just evolved near each
It's
other.
a
That's-
fan theory.
It's a fan theory, but at the
No.
same time, it's heavily implied in Deep Space
It's
Nine.
it's confirmed
I don't
basically in
think
the
so.
solar wind episode because there's you can just travel the solar sail from one.
No,
place
what's
to the other.
implied is that Bajorians have visited or something before.
Yeah.
Their
Yeah,
little,
they just
like,
figure out FTL
Ah!
or
Whoa.
Jesus, Deutschland.
That was his announcement noise.
What were you saying, Herr Deutschland?
I'm saying they just happened to luck into FTL before the Cardassians did.
Mm.
That's
Like,
all.
oh, let's go in space. Oh, we're going really fast.
Everyone be queued up for the Aenar. We're about to begin the final episode in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Final episode of Enterprise. What an episode.
Yes.
Something cool though. We never saw this alien species before, and it's like the Remans in Nemesis. It's kind of cool.
Honestly, it's not the finale, but honestly, it could be the finale. It would
Yeah.
work.
They have a character on Strange New Worlds. It's an Enar.
Yeah,
Yes.
I mentioned that earlier.
He's the chef.
The token Enar.
He's
The
not
blood
the chef.
No, he's the
He's the chief
he's the
engineer.
chief
He's the
engineer.
Oh, okay. He can just cut a carrot with his eyes closed.
Well, I work in IT,
Mike is
and I
the
also happen to know how to cook.
Prove it.
I can't really talk about details because spoiler policy, but I was really expecting the Aenar to be the hero of episode 3.
I still don't know how to watch it in the UK.
Special ways, the same way I have to watch it here in Germany.
Way
What's it
anchor,
called?
Argos.
I sent you a thing, Argos. You didn't answer.
You gotta love the Reman makeup. It's like movie good.
Mm.
Military general talking to Putin, colorized.
But he's a senator.
They're more united than ever. You fool.
I love how senators basically like here. This senator's running his own foreign policy.
Yeah, I mean I think, their government is like sort of loosely modelled on the Roman way of doing things, and that's how they did it.
Yeah. You're right. Senators were like wealthy patricians who like often went to war, like Caesar invading Gaul to expand his own power.
Yeah, it was just like a vanity project from anything else.
You were expected to like expand the empire.
Yeah.
Caesar also
Okay.
went to Britain, which is crazy.
I
I
believe
really do love the Vulcan ships.
Look,
one
see,
of us
Enterprise
here
spelled
lives
with a
in
Z.
Gaul, so that's nice.
Enterprise is spelled with a Z. You guys were like looking at me like I was crazy.
How are things in Gaul, Herr Deutschland?
I don't know, that's out west. It's full of French people now, though. Ooh.
Actually, quite a funny story about when he invaded Britain
About
because
Gaul?
And it's spelled with a Z, not a Z.
Where's the Z in Gaul?
they thought Britain was like a place that had lots of wealth, and they got there and they were like, oh. But he had to like play it off as if he brought back loads of spoils. So I think he brought back like shells or something like that, and that was like his big spoils. And people were like, "Oh, this is
Wow.
amazing. Where's the gold though?"
Yeah, and he saw the White Cliffs of Dover, and he saw like strategically it wasn't a good place to land, so he kept sailing up, and then like he had to fight off the barbarians on the beach. No offense, British
Like, this
people.
place sucks. I'm going home. It's always wet. There's nowhere to go. There's just sheep.
And then he named it Britannia, which is what we call it today.
Well, we call
Wow.
it the United Kingdom of Great Britain and
Well,
Northern
we
Ireland.
called London after the Romans. It's Londinium.
Yeah, and even York, they called the city Eborium, which comes out to York in English.
Is York not a Norse
York was a
word?
family.
No, the Duke of York is named after the place in the family. But York means Eborium tree or something. So the New York is after from that.
What is the purpose of this table being underlit? Surely that would make it harder to read stuff on the table.
To give
light
a
up
to give
the
a good
actors'
look on the
faces.
actors' faces, yeah, and then you could put like transparency sheets on it and look at an X-ray, so they could pull out an X-ray of Shran's antenna and like make fun of it. This one's so puny. Why did they need Aenar? Why couldn't they just use a Romulan or a Reman?
Because they're more telepathic.
Because we'll see in the next episode they have special telepathic powers. Like
The
they're more
Romulans have to
intuitive.
like touch people.
Just get a slave that's intuitive to do all your electronic bombing.
Wait, they
Did
already
they ever
brought the
feed
drone
this guy?
back to Romulus?
Like he's in this machine. We've never seen him come out of that machine.
Yeah, he just lives there.
To fly a fighter aircraft, you have to take Ritalin or some kind of what is it, Adderall? What is it called? The amphetamine to make you stay up, because to land and do the plane takes too long. So you got to be up there 36 hours at a time. We'll see you when you come back down.
Oh, in World War II, everybody was on methamphetamines.
Yeah, Army soldiers too.
How do you think the Blitzkrieg worked?
The the British experimented with LSD. They just wanted to goof around and climb trees, so it didn't work. But methamphetamines. Yeah.
For the record, the Ryan's Edits
Amphetamine.
YouTube channel officially does not endorse methamphetamine.
Amphetamine, it's different than methamphetamine, or it's a distinction without a difference, to be honest.
Shows about methamphetamine, though, those can be pretty good.
Amphetamines are good. Methamphetamines are
So
good.
is it different or isn't it? Because you said two conflicting statements there.
It's a distinction without a difference.
It's not different.
The point is to get you amped up.
Wasn't Hitler on meth?
JFK took
Oh, he was on a
back
bunch of stuff.
injections for his back pain.
To be honest, if I was running the country, he probably need some drugs to like stop me caving into the stress that would cause.
If you were running a country, or if you were
Yeah.
out of the country,
Some people say, oh, I want to be the president when I grow up. And it's like, no, 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 thank you.
nope.
I just want to like make spreadsheets, man. I don't want that responsibility.
Yeah, I just want to watch Star Trek with my friends. Thanks.
Someone's
How
got to
come
do it. Come on.
Obama never hosted a Star Trek watch along?
How come Obama never
Obama.
hosted a watch along?
Yeah.
He was too busy showing up on late night
He was-
comedy shows.
He was young and hip.
Yeah, they called him Hip Obama.
He was
Obama.
too busy going to Harvard Law
I know.
and Harvard.
The closest
Getting
thing
the
is
Nobel Peace
AOC
Prize.
once played Among Us on stream.
He did.
I mean, politicians have got to have some free time, so why not? Just
They
screw
were
it.
trying so hard to be relatable, so they played Among Us. Isn't that just kind of like, as a politician, you don't want to be the one playing Among Us, do you? Because you're like trying to. It's
Yeah.
like you're pointing the finger at yourself that you're an imposter.
Yeah.
anytime stuff like that happens, I just find it very awkward. Kind of like, what's her name?
Oh.
Stacy showing up on Discovery.
Yeah,
Stacey
Stacey
Abrams.
Abrams.
Who's
She's
that?
the president of Earth.
Like, really?
But what is she in real life?
This is
She's a
what we're doing.
politician.
What's the thing? She's a politician. She's not an actor. It's very, very.
I mean,
weird.
she's playing a politician, so she's not really acting.
Surely a politician should be able to be relatable though. Like that's kind of their job. Why are so many of them so
it's in
bad
the
at
job
it?
description, but none of them ever follow it.
You don't get votes unless you're like charismatic to some degree, though.
If you were a politician, what would you do to appeal to the younger audience? Would you play Among Us on Twitch? Would you host a watch along? What would you do?
I would tell them to Pokemon Go to the polls and vote.
I think that would just make
God.
all of them go, okay, boomer, goodbye.
That's what the Hillary literally
Yeah,
did.
I mean that's what it happens, isn't it? Like,
I
She's
would.
trying so hard.
There's nothing you
I
can
would-
do
I
as a
would
politician
forgive-
to appeal to the younger
I love
audience
Ice Planet
unless you
episodes.
genuinely share their interests.
I would forgive half the student loan debt and tell them if they want the other half, they need to reelect me.
That's
If you want the
basically
other half, you have to vote out red as the
Like
imposter.
I use Celsius set to 28 below. Well, at least I hope that's not Fahrenheit.
Yeah, it's cold here. That's why we live underground because it's a little bit.
It's
More.
like an 8 second.
It's like the intro to Frozen.
They really do a good job of this planet because it's like, how else would you live on an
Pretty-
ice world?
Nice, some pretty light color patterns. It's
Mm.
lovely.
apparently this bag has 44 chicken nuggets in it.
44 chicken nuggets. What are you going to do with 44 nuggets?
Consume?
Is that like 3,000 calories? How much are in nuggets?
Oh, I'm not eating them all at once.
You know, I found out
That's a good question. How many calories is it?
there's a place in like Finland that's so north that it's below 32 degrees Fahrenheit, 0 degrees Celsius year round, and bodies don't decompose. So if you die, you have to be airlifted off of that island because they found like Spanish flu on the corpses in the graveyard on that place. So you know you don't want to live on an ice planet.
And more importantly, 44 nuggets is just over 2,100 calories.
It's
Well,
12 days
not
worth.
not bird's eye ones. They're not that much.
Not counting the sauce. Just the nuggets.
Picky nuggy.
Well, there's nothing wrong with the ice planet. You just don't want it to thaw.
So this guy was demoted from senator to admiral.
Yeah,
It's
it's
slightly
demotion
concerning
in
that
their
those are
system.
in the same line.
They're a militaristic race.
Ah, those Romans.
Yeah, only like half their titles are Roman though. They have centurions and admirals.
Yeah, I don't know if Romans had admirals, did they? I'm not sure.
They had a navy.
Yeah, wasn't good though.
No, not great.
Let me look up Roman military rank.
They
Centurions,
still managed to beat Carthage,
Tribuni-
which had a better navy. So
Praefectus Castrorum, Tribunus
they,
Lac-
when push
Laticlavius,
came to
and
shove,
Legate.
they had a pretty good navy, like good enough.
So this
Yeah, I
guy
don't think
should
it
be a
was good. I
legate
think
if
it
they were
was
going Roman.
Like they just threw that many ships at it.
Yeah, I mean they kept failing, but at the end of the day, when it came to when they needed to make good ships and to win the war, they actually did they pulled it through.
Tran. Archer warned him. He made it 5 minutes before he
Literally trying to
severely
get
injured
himself killed. Like,
Yeah, you don't take out the knife. You go to the ER with the knife in there.
I mean,
Shran.
the neat thing in Star Trek is you have that nice little phaser there which can cauterize the wound.
True.
I don't think that's going to apply to this situation. There's just a cylindrical hole all the way through the
Yes,
leg.
it's true. Yeah.
where did the
Well-
meat go? That was his leg.
It got pushed to the sides. into his leg, so that bit of his leg is just denser now.
Oh,
At least Archer knows how to do a
And
tourniquet.
Aenar.
I read in a book that you should always wear a belt because if someone needs a tourniquet and you see them like bleeding out on the street,
I
you
don't
have it
think
in.
it's short of cutting the lead off there that you could actually stop the bleeding because there's nothing
You
in
put
the
a
entire
tourniquet at the
wound.
top.
Yeah,
Put a tourniquet at the top of the leg, like as close to the joint as possible.
Yeah.
I usually have a tourniquet. I have
you
a
can
trauma
cut the
kit
blood
in the
flow off,
car.
but it's still very difficult for the amount of loss to the
Yeah.
leg.
I keep
Well-
trauma kits in different
man.
like backpacks and bags and
In
things.
any case,
so-
Shran is losing the leg.
Yeah.
The tourniquet slows the bleeding. It doesn't stop the bleeding.
well,
Depends how tightly you squeeze it.
yeah.
Well, hopefully I never have to. But that's why you should always wear a belt. I know like your jeans fit and everything, but always wear a belt, guys.
No.
A belt doesn't
Well-
really make a great turn. You need a tourniquet. Like you need an actual tourniquet.
You
Better
could
than
use your
nothing.
shirt instead of a belt.
Yeah, but then you're shirtless.
Yeah.
Belt's
Oh,
probably
I think
better
they
than
had
the
that
shirt.
that costume at Jean Paul Gaultier this year.
Oh, shirtless with belt.
Where did they get the lace?
It's the silkworms.
How do they
Whatever it
grow
is.
food? Do they eat the... Is everything worm-based here?
It's just ground up worms. It's all worm.
grubs.
I
Ferengi
didn't
eat
see any
tube
plant
grubs.
life.
You know how Ferengi eat tube grubs? That's
Yes.
You can sniff beetle husks too.
Sniff beetle husks.
Hyperion beetle snuff is what the Nagus always has on him.
Now I'm remembering that episode of TOS where they talk about ESP. It's like, oh, what do you know about ESP? It's like, oh, I'm very high on the ESP scale. It's like, no, no, you're not.
There is
What
an
are we-
ESP scale.
Ah, the
I don't-
Esper scale, your favorite thing.
I don't remember what episode that was, but I
Where
have
no
a
man has
playlist.
gone before. The
I have a
second
playlist of
pilot
every single
original
Star Trek
series.
episode. I just have it to shuffle if I want to watch Star Trek. And an episode of TOS came on. I was like, oh, okay, sure, I'll watch a bit of TOS. That's fine. They started talking about ESP. I was like, nope, skip.
But that's the pilot. That's where it all began.
Yeah.
You don't like ESP?
No. Humans do
No.
not have magic powers.
We can create
Wow.
life. That's pretty good.
Hear me out. Hear me
Pretty
out.
pog.
What if they did?
What
You
is
can
magical
believe in
powers,
other
though?
magic, but you're not allowed to believe that humans are magic.
I like Sam Harris. He's a famous atheist writer. So he says that like I'm not denying that, it could be possible that someone has ESP or superpowers. But the only way I would believe that is if I have a 39-digit number in my back pocket and you can tell me what it is.
I don't think ESP is meant to be like that, though, is it? It's meant to be like...
Well, I guess the
Like,
idea would be
perception isn't-
that
isn't
person
like-
had it memorized and they could read their mind.
Yeah. But, like, general perception is less distinct than that. It's like a intuition or an instinct.
Yeah, or a
It's
hunch.
magic.
So, Bourbon here has done a good idea. It's like, yes, your leaders. The most effective system is where the leaders are selected based upon what the situation requires.
Are you going to
Do you
elaborate on that? Or...
Well, if the most knowledgeable, experienced person in the particular situation is the leader, they can direct what is needed to be done in the correct fashion, as opposed to someone who has no idea what they're talking about.
The problem is that usually, you get a very competent leader, and then they're like, actually, no, I'm not giving up power.
Free.
Oh,
Do you
that's why
believe
you have strong
Then you
controls
have a
against
problem.
that.
do you believe in intuition, Ryan?
Well, how are you defining intuition? Are you defining it as magic or just like...
Yeah. The Aenar way.
Aenar tuition.
The Aenar are telepathic, so no, I don't believe that
Yeah.
humans are telepathic.
Thanks.
Intuition is the subconscious. It's the culmination of the subconscious ideas.
Applying patterns you're already familiar with to new situations.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like your leadership analogy you just gave, Soma. Like, what if somebody has the most experience, and then that's how we know they make the right decisions because they've been there for more than anyone else. That's a really beautiful planet.
Though one time when I was a kid, me and my friend would sit on the bus and try to beam thoughts to each other, see if it worked. It never did, unfortunately. But we tried. So if any humans are telepathic, it's not me.
Richard Dawkins, another famous
It's
atheist.
a
Go ahead.
theoretical potential mutation. Incredibly theoretical. Is insanely unlikely any human has ever had any form of telepathy or ever will.
Rings. Define strong.
I mean,
Any
what
mutation is theoretically possible.
Strong,
But there's
Irish.
definitely the potential of a human being being able to be hypersensitive to electromagnetic fields, which the brain emits.
Six
Well, we
shots
don't-
of vodka.
we don't actually know like to what the mechanisms behind telepathy are in this show. Like, for example, you could tell what someone is thinking not because you can like actually read their thoughts, but because you read their body language or are aware of their heart rate or their pupil dilation. Other things could give it away, make it seem like you were reading their thoughts.
That's how Troy senses emotions through a view screen. She just looks at him.
When Tucker says my feelings are purely
He
professional,
does have Wi-Fi though.
he's talking about T'Pol.
I was talking about Troy.
In the original series, there's an idea that every character has an ESP rating. I think this is like in the
Yes.
second or third
No,
episode,
no.
and that kind of disappears. That's when they
Because
have
it's
kind of
stupid.
silver eyes. Right?
Yes, the best part of Star Trek. As
Tell
per
them,
their
Nando.
ratings. Humans with magic powers, yes.
The big thing that bothered me was she said something like, "Oh, it has been proven that certain humans have the ability to blah blah blah." It's like, no, it's not.
It has been in the future.
Curse Eugene Roddenberry.
You know, Philip K. Dick, science fiction writer, Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, Valis, Man of the High Castle, genius guy. He tells a story about how he wrote a short story about meeting a random person at a gas station named Felix, and then it happens to him like in real life a few months later. So how would you explain that, Ryan?
Sorry,
And-
I only caught half of that. I was trying to think of, is that Tran's wife later on?
So, Philip K. Dick, science fiction
Yes.
American science fiction writer, says like he writes in his article called "How to Build a Universe." He wrote a short story about meeting a black man at a gas station named Felix, and like a few months later, he meets a black person at a gas station named Felix.
That doesn't seem
So-
like a very unusual occurrence. If you want to prove magic telepathy to me, I'm gonna need more than I met a black man.
Magic.
From a fiction writer.
I think that
Right,
may be an
who-
example of if somebody, it's like a cognitive bias. Like, you know, when you learn a new word, you suddenly start like hearing it everywhere.
Yeah.
If you're looking for a certain like situation, you're going to find it.
For sure,
I've seen lots
when
of
you-
black men at gas stations. Maybe one of them was named Felix. I don't know.
When you're shopping for a new car, you see that car everywhere on the road because you're looking for a beetle. But yeah, but you forgot anyway. Thanks.
That is insufficient evidence.
Why is there two LEDs where her eyes would be?
Let remind you, T'Pol is watching. She
I think I've
sees
seen a video
everything.
like this before.
It's to make you like humanize the piece of metal and like really believe it's
She's-
her behind it.
Entering the Matrix.
I do wish Star Trek didn't have any magic in it, though. That'd be nice.
There is no magic, it's just science.
You just don't understand it.
You just don't get the science, Ryan. It's science, okay?
Never mind, he's probably the most scientifically minded person here, but he doesn't get science.
Not at all.
How do Burnham and Spock mind meld across several light years?
Super mind melds, okay?
It's called
obvious.
the ether,
Super!
the ethereal medium, Ryan.
It's not even Discovery that did that first. I don't remember where, but somebody melded across the distance in some other series.
Is it the is Enterprise that one that was the
In Star
alien that
Trek-
wanted to kidnap Hoshi?
In Star Trek Nemesis, Troy gets telepathically raped, and then she rapes the guy back.
Character
So
development,
that's
everyone.
so, folks. If you are
Okay, I'm gonna just mute this whole conversation. And okay, we skip that bit.
you have it on a delay that you can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for bringing that up.
I want to know how that
on the
works.
radio.
Never talk about that whole topic. Just that whole topic should just be a no-no. If you hear yourself starting to talk about that, just say, no, I don't think I will.
So anyway, how about the weather?
Wait, how come she's? I was just could be helping them out, but still.
How about that Enterprise C?
So anyway,
That's a cool spaceship.
Robo, the
I like
way
it, but-
the way you do that mute is you go
Yeah.
into the filters for the audio source and just add. Oh no, not the filters. You go into the advanced audio properties and just set the sync offset. I have it set to 3,000 milliseconds. And then it just so happens that when you mute that audio source in OBS, it'll also wipe out the last 3 seconds. Or however
Right.
long you set.
It's very important.
So you have a
general
so
chat right
so
now.
the chat.
I have all the
would
audio
sync
set to a
up
3,000
with the-
millisecond offset, and then I
worms?
have
No,
all the
thank you.
video. I have a delay filter on all the video sources to also be 3 seconds.
All right, we'll chat.
These worms
off
like
the
remind
stream
me. You know, we're
a
talking
little
about
more
like
closely.
everything is ground up worms. Reminds me of like the things that they use to make MSG. They call them like sea penis or sea cucumber, and it's like it looks like those worms, and they literally grind those up to make umami flavor. That's your interesting fact for the day.
Those are some interesting bottles.
Well, I've learned a lot today.
I don't know what those do.
Is there some liquor in there? I want the green one.
Can't see
They're
the label.
party mixers.
The lighting is so low in here.
Gotta have the mood lighting.
They've been doing that a
Yes.
lot season 3 and 4. They just turn down all the lights.
Makes it look more like Battlestar Galactica, which we're competing with this season, I guess. Darkest sci-fi.
Which season of Battlestar Galactica are we competing with? Was it one of the
I
good
just did
ones?
Kind of all of it. Possibly 2, I guess. That started in what season? 2004. So I suppose that's that kind of what lines up. I think.
I still haven't gone back and watched like Razor and the other background story ones. Maybe I should at some point.
They were good. Battlestar had its moments. I just don't want to rewatch it as much as I want to rewatch Voyager and Enterprise and TNG.
Why are they so mean? Why did they even let you leave if they... Why is this lower resolution now? Okay, now
It's
it's
a bit
high
like
res
on
again.
Babylon 5. It's a bit like on Babylon 5. Whenever there's a compositing effect, the resolution drops, so you know someone's about to shoot a gun.
Ah. Oh, they put a radio effect on that woman for her telepathy. I wonder if any of these actors are actually blind, because the guy in Strange New Worlds is blind.
Yeah.
I find it curious that a species of blind people would put such a strong emphasis on fashion.
Funny how it was literally right
Bicycling.
there.
Convenient. That set also looked unique. I wonder if they spray painted a regular set or if that's new.
This episode does kind of play out Nemesis a fair amount.
Had Nemesis been made yet? When was Nemesis?
Don't know. Let's have a look.
Okay, Nemesis was 2002, so it was out.
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense. That'd be something where they'd be like, "Hey, remember these guys from the movie? Remember the Remans? They're
Oh,
back."
yeah. Of course Nemesis was out. The Remans are here. Right.
Yeah.
But now I can't unsee the eyes. Why would you do this? Never noticed it before. Oh, she has 2 belts for double the tourniquets. I'm curious about how they... Oh, never mind. I was thinking for a second, it's like, oh, the antennas are puppeteered. How did I get the helmet over the strings? No, they're not string puppeteered. They're radio.
Yeah.
They put me in.
Wait, is that feedback necessary? I don't think the other dude's chair spins. How come her chair spins?
She's got the nice chair. It's the Mark II right there.
It's once again that thing where Starfleet isn't just trying to replicate another species' technology. They want to improve it for their first time.
Why would Enterprise not come with support to this place?
So
Like that
Enterprise or
support.
Starfleet's version of the Marauder wouldn't just holographically replicate the enemy ship; it would just like replicate itself.
It would just, yeah,
The
it would be
enemy
the
ship.
ship.
Right.
Just instantly 3D print new starships and send them out.
Right.
That was so much more powerful than having one ship appear to be another.
But they wouldn't use it for any powerful purpose. They would just screw with people.
They'll get there eventually. They need programmable matter.
Oh.
Oh.
Sounds fancy, doesn't it?
What? I can tell like a blob on the desk to become a cheeseburger, and
Yes.
That's basically how it works in Discovery.
I don't know if they can eat the programmable matter.
Why not?
Just matter. I mean, what does it matter?
It just goes. It'll
isn't
just even if
programmable
it
matter
doesn't.
just like it's just nanobots or whatever, like nanites, isn't it?
I think it goes beyond that in Discovery.
I'm a commander in the Imperial Guard. Not anymore, you're not. You don't have anything to command. Ship got all blown up.
You have a commander with one antenna.
One antenna, no ship. He's the worst. Can't even follow orders. Now kiss. God, why do the Romulans even bother anymore? They know it doesn't work.
Yeah.
I love a good Romulan shenanigans episode.
Just scan the power signature. We know you can.
Yeah.
They're making it out like this is some big moral decision. No, just scan it. You know how to do this, aren't you?
Ba-ba-bum.
Oh, there we go. It's the Marauder. What a wait, it's smaller now.
It projects it around it.
It was like twice the size of Enterprise before.
You mean the model itself?
Force field.
So I know the Defiant had that problem a bunch, where the size of the Defiant was changed constantly relative to everything around it.
Yeah. What's her name, by the way?
Rachel McAdam, I think.
What's the character's name, by the way? Unless her character's name is Rachel. She might be Rachel the Aenar. The Romulans don't have that weird eye LED.
That's a
They
nice
just have some
motorbike
padding.
helmet.
It's a biker helmet, yeah. Okay, so now they've remembered they can scam. That's good.
It's nice that on the bridge in this era they actually had handholds and railings to hold on to, which is something that they definitely lost and needed sorely by the time of Star Trek Nemesis. That would have been nice when that view screen got taken.
It would so
The
much
set
better if they had
designers-
the end scene where it's just like seatbelts finally.
I'm not over them
Set
cutting that. It was the
designers-
perfect ending.
Set designers said they raided like a hardware store for all the shower handles and stuff, and just put them everywhere. You know the stainless steel shower handles they have for like people who need help standing in the shower.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, old people.
It's not probable. You're gonna kill your own sister, you monster! Oh, no, he's done.
I do like how the Romulans in this era of this era of Star Trek were just always up to kind of sneaky stuff. They were always doing shenanigans.
They're very
Always had
consistent.
secret plans. But of course, they can't be revealed in Enterprise because they don't officially appear to humans until the original series.
Yeah, they gotta be sneaky. Crash the ships together? Seems like a good strat. Fire at them and then crash.
Don't they have like any idea that this, like, they've designed it so this guy can control it remotely, and they have no idea that he's causing this now?
Mm.
There we
Didn't they
go.
just take the hat off? Garrick?
Witness me.
Eric.
Alright, so I guess it's just gonna sit there now. Easy target.
So she just directly telepathically experienced her brother's death. Very nasty.
Yep. She's gonna need some therapy for that.
Yeah.
Maybe they should consider having one of those people on the ship.
Like some kind of counselor.
Maybe. A team of them, maybe, even perhaps. That'd be wild.
Nah.
Yeah, just one will do.
The future, man.
That
We
way-
don't need therapy.
That way, when the primary counsellor has something wrong with them, there'll be no one left to counsel anyone.
Who counsels the counselors?
When did they give her the snazzy outfit?
It's what the rest of the Aenar wear.
I thought they had that weird lace thing. And that's just the head, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's just a mask. It looks like an extremely ineffective face mask, but it's what they use.
It's better than those masks which have kind of a window for the mouth area so you can see people smiling. The problem with that being
Just
that
creepy.
it just looks like half your face is wearing a helmet.
Bye, Jeffrey.
The helmets used in Ender's Game were a bit weird because they had an opening in the bottom part of the face.
What, for you to eat through or something?
No,
Which
it was
make
just a
them
little
highly
slit for some
ineffective.
reason.
With those CDs on the left, he's got the cases. He's got this
CDs.
holder.
Remember CDs?
He can have his
Barely.
copies of OK Computer and Kid A right there.
I wonder if they just put random like music discs in there, if they're actually made custom sci-fi covers.
Rick Astley in there.
Is this the part where he asked to be
It's
transferred off the
Star Trek:
Enterprise?
The Next Generation, A Final Unity
Okay. Oh,
on
he's gonna
CD-ROM.
Columbia now.
Yep, transfer.
Oh, what episode is possibly the best engineering episode?
What?
It's possibly the best engineering scene
Which one?
in one of the upcoming episodes.
Is it the one where he yells at Seth MacFarlane?
It's the one where he restarts the warp engine in 2 minutes, and Columbia shares the warp field.
That's a good one.
I think it's next week.
Tucker's just sad. He doesn't want to be here. His best friend is here. His almost kind of ex-girlfriend who's now divorced is here. He's got Reed. Think of what this is gonna do to Reed. You're his only friend, Tucker.
Yeah.
He does a good turn on Stargate Atlantis.
Yes, that was brilliant.
Which one?
Tucker?
Who?
Yeah, he's a wraith
plays
who's
a-
been turned into
a
a human
wraith
who then has
called
become
Michael.
halfway back to a wraith.
I know what some of those words meant.
Wraith are the bad guys on Stargate Atlantis.
He turns
It's
it
a
halfway
really,
into
really-
a spooky
He's a
ghost.
rogue bad guy.
Yeah,
He's a rogue
it's a
bad guy.
really, really good show. You need to watch it.
Who,
Oh,
Tucker?
it's great.
Yeah, the Tonitrud now becomes one of the
And
bad.
T'Pol is on SG-1
Yes.
later on. She becomes Teal'c's love interest later on.
Alright, so that's it for today. Next week is Affliction, Divergence, and Bound. So that's the Klingon augment virus. Wait, is it? Or did we already watch that? Did we watch that,
No,
or did I
it's a
watch that
Klingon-
by myself?
It's the Klingon augment virus next week, yes.
Okay, cool.
Yay.
And then Bound is with the Orion slave women, because of course it is.
Yes.
Yay, my favorite.
And after today, we have 3 more Enterprise streams, and then a week off, and then Voyager.
And starting from Caretaker
Yes,
all
and
over.
unfortunately we have the, to my mind,
Voyager.
episode finishing.
Thing for boy.
Enterprise.
Voyager, we're starting with Basics Part 2.
That works.
Not part 1.
That's where it
part 2.
starts getting good.
Yeah,
What episode
season
is
3s
that?
are good. It's kind
Basics part 2 is the
bigger
one where they're
time.
stranded on the planet because the Kazon took over the ship.
It's interesting looking at the ratings of the different shows. Voyager is 12, TOS is PG, Animated is U, Deep Space Nine is a 15, then Next Generation and Enterprise are both 12s.
All right, stream's over. We're done here.
See ya.
Okay, bye. Thanks for having us.